Hershey and Keegs Show.
Welcome to Hershey and the Keegs Show, starring pitcher Mark Hirschman and his personal catcher, Mike Keegan. Every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. live from the Governor's Comedy Club radio studio. Thanks so much for listening.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday night, 9 p.m. You know what it is. It's time for the Hershey and the Keegs Show. We are looking good, feeling good, and we're ready to have a good time hanging out with you people. Thank you guys for tuning in. We are here. We're excited to be here. As always, Mike Keegan, Tony Walker, our producer, and my Hershey and the Keegs Show compañero, Mark David Hirschman.
I've always wanted to be a compañero.
Now you are.
I've always wanted to be your compañero.
You always will be.
And it's worked out well.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny how this has come to fruition. You know, we started this show now, it's got to be a year and a half ago. And
sure is.
I think well before we even started it, we had in our minds talked about the makeup of the show and what's it going to be about. Obviously, we're two stand-up comics from Long Island, but we had made it very clear that we didn't want this just to be only a show about comedy and stand-up. Exactly. And there were certain guests that we had talked about, one of them being the family from Drawings by Trent, which we had on maybe 3 or 4 months ago.
Yep. And one of my favorite episodes, one of our fans' favorite episodes.
Yeah, too. Yeah. I mean, really, the responses on that were unbelievable. And
we're hilarious, but we're multi-talented,
good-looking, but we can
humble.
We can run the gamut. We can be funny, we can be serious, but we had talked about this, that we want to talk to people that we like. That's why we've had radio personalities on that we both root for many years. We've been fans of. We had the Drawings by Trent people, but you know that I think one of the first texts that I had sent you was, I really want to have Asa and Priscilla Moss on from Fathering Autism, because we just love them. It's been 2 or 3 years that we've talked about them.
Way before we even started the podcast, we would share videos.
We did. We shared a lot of videos, and so you know, sometimes I'll get texts even after the Drawings by Trent show. People are like, that's awesome, but what's your plan with the show? Like last week you had a stand-up comic on. The week before that you had a radio personality on from WFAN, and I said, well, that's exactly the point.
Yeah, we're not going to be pigeonholed.
We don't want to be pigeonholed. We don't like pigeons. We don't like holes, and we didn't want to go that route. So instead, we sometimes will go weeks just talking about ourselves and our families, and about Tony's family. Other times we'll have celebrities on here. We'll do stand-up comics in studio.
Athletes.
Yeah. So we don't want to be pigeonholed, like Mike said. And but this is one of the biggest nights for us. We're super excited. We're gonna punch up Asa and Priscilla Moss from Fathering Autism momentarily.
Before we do, yes. I do want to say
you brought a gift finally.
I brought some gifts finally.
Wow.
Because you guys always poke fun at me for you guys bring me gifts.
Yeah.
I brought some delicious homemade Rice Krispie treats.
You did?
From Juliana's baptism.
Oh wow! So
they're homemade. Carla's sister made them.
So
and I wanted to share them with you guys.
So Juliana's baptism happened this past week, 2 weekends ago.
Yes.
There was obviously a trough of food left over that Carla was like, get this stuff out of my house.
Here are the leftovers.
And Mike said,
I also have a half an eggplant rollatini in the car.
Oh, there's eggplant rollatini in the car, and there's two, let's put it this way: granite is softer than these two Rice Krispie treats right now.
I wanted to share. They're delicious. Carla's sister made them, and get in touch with me if you ever have a function or anything.
Yes.
She does this professionally now.
She professionally does stale Rice Krispie treats.
They weren't stale 2 weeks ago.
All right.
But,
so
I'm not going to give you the fresh ones.
Tony and I. Wait, why does Tony's have little marbles on them? What is that all about?
You guys could pick which one you like better.
Okay, so we can pick which one we're going to throw in the garbage when you pull away later.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll pick them up in the parking lot after the show.
Yeah, that's going to be terrific.
We had the baptism. What an amazing day it was. Also,
I have to tell you, dude, and you know I love you. You looked so handsome on that. You know what? There was a picture that someone posted, and it was a candid. It was Juliana, like in some sort of an action mode, and then it was you just gleaming behind her. And there was a lot of like stuff going on in the background. There were like kids and other people.
Yeah.
And I don't have any graphic design skills whatsoever, but I obviously have some people.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
I have people in my pocket, as they say. And I reached out. I'm like, can you get these people out of the picture?
Get this nonsense out of here, because that was beautiful. Like I said, I was was very proud of her.
You looked so handsome.
That was a picture of Juliana running out of the church,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
That's why
So
it was an action shot.
I see.
Let me get
Okay.
the hell out of this church, she was saying.
So she was running out of the church, but you looked like just so proud.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was like you were beaming or just it was sweaty, probably. I
a
would
lot of
assume.
sweat, probably, because it was the summertime and I was wearing a suit. And I don't really wear
Dude,
suits.
you look great.
Oh,
She
thank
looked
you.
beautiful.
She did. She looked amazing.
Congratulations to 8-year-old Juliana on being baptized.
Exactly. We wanted to wait for the right time. So
Yeah.
we figured when she's 8 years old, we'll baptize her. And I actually got to be the godfather, which
did.
wasn't the plan.
So, no, I know what the plan was, and we're not even going to go in the direction that was. But
I'll basically
Yes.
what it was
Yes, sir.
Carla chose the godparents.
yes.
And she chose family friends or
Yeah.
people that she doesn't
Didn't
really
know
speak
that
to.
well. Yeah.
Chris Farley's brother.
Chris Farley's brother,
Yeah.
a stand-up comic. Nice man, by the way.
Very nice guy.
Very
And they're
funny
good
guy.
Catholics, too. That's why Carla picked them.
They are devout
Him and his
Catholics, the
wife.
Farley family. Sure.
But I'm like, he's met Juliana 2 times. Like, why is he
Right.
the godfather? You know, I'm here every single day. You know,
Every day.
I was kind of hurt by it. And I would really get her mad because I would take like little digs. I'm like,
Right.
hey, because we're having the dinner afterwards. I was thinking of inviting Norm Macdonald's cousin.
Right. Norm
maybe-
Macdonald's cousin's going to be the stepdad. from now on.
David Spade's stepbrother wants
Yeah.
to come and be, so I was just messing with. But it ended up they had some kind of an emergency at their house. She had a medical emergency, the wife. So me and
Well, thank
Carla's-
goodness for that.
Yeah, thank goodness that they had that medical
Thank goodness
emergency.
for that.
Yeah, 'cause
That's
her eye
terrific.
blew up. She sent the picture like her eye blew up.
Yeah.
His wife or girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
So me, I was the godfather, and Carla's best friend Liz, who's an amazing person.
Liz
the
is lovely.
godmother, Liz Fulham.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, congratulations
Thank
to Carla, to Juliana, to the
Yeah.
grandparents, to your parents who are essentially grandparents of
Yeah.
this child. She's a beautiful child. Now she's
Yes.
been baptized by God. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Jewish, so I don't know what that means. But I
yeah,
know
I guess
that
it welcomes you
something-
into the church, and it's supposed to take away the original sin. But
Yeah.
I don't think much sin came out. I think I
No,
saw
it worked out well.
they poured the water over her, and I heard.
yeah,
like, you
yeah.
know, like-
a little sizzling. She's a
The
spicy
power
one.
of Christ compels you. You know.
She's a spicy one, and
Yeah.
her nickname is what you call her, the grasshopper,
I call her the mouse.
the mouse.
The mouse.
I knew it was something, a little varmint.
It's always
Yeah.
some kind of rodent.
Well, on that note, I mean, I can't think of a more positive note to springboard off of than, I think they're punched up. So as long as, Tony, you can get them up, we're going to pull up Priscilla and Asa Moss from Fathering Autism, and we are very excited to do so. So, Tony, when you're ready.
Excellent.
They're on.
Check. Can you guys hear us?
We
Hi,
can hear you.
guys. Yep.
Wow.
Excellent.
This is, I have to tell you, Mike and I are I'm Mark Hirschman, by the way, Hershey. This is Mike Keegan, the Keegs, and this is Tony Walker, who we also call Tony Walker. Tony Walker is our producer, also a stand-up comic. Mike and I, we work with some pretty high-profile comics. We've had some pretty big celebs in here, and I don't think either one of us have been more nervous about an interview than this. So,
Aw.
Yeah,
Don't be nervous.
Mark was texting me this afternoon. He's like, I have agita. I don't know if I'm prepared. So thank you so much for coming, guys.
and I spent my whole day preparing. Believe me, for the past, I've actually been preparing since the first time that I harassed Asa, which was probably about 18 months ago, and then I think it was like 4 months ago. He was like, "Darn, I think I forgot to get back to you."
Dude, I'm the worst, man. I'm so sorry. You don't understand the turmoil my wife goes through with these kinds of things.
These
She's like,
kinds
hey,
of things.
did so and so
Exactly.
reach out to.
I'm just going to put it out there. I was informed this morning that we were doing this podcast.
Oh,
and
wow.
I actually am missing. I started a Zoom with my job, and I was like, okay, y'all got this. I'll be back later.
oh, man.
Well, we really appreciate it, and we are being very genuine that we've only been doing the show for 18 months or so, but we have been huge fans of yours for a very long time, and we are very humbled and honored that you guys are here, because just from watching, we know how busy you are. Not just, with Abby, not just with your selfie business or, golf cart trips and everything else. You guys are the two busiest people I've ever seen. So thank you for whatever time you give us tonight. We genuinely do appreciate it.
No, I was honored when you reached out. I makes me feel special.
Asa was fidgeting right before, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? He's like, I'm nervous. I'm like, what?
No.
Like,
Don't be
this
nervous.
is what you do.
Bro, I have complete control over my editing.
Yeah.
There you go.
when I'm filming a vlog. This is a whole different thing.
I promise you, it's interesting. So I don't know. Are you guys familiar with the Landreth family from Drawings by Trent? Trent,
Yes.
who's the So,
Yeah.
it's interesting. They came on a couple of months ago, and I think they were a little bit like, what this is going to be like. These are two stand-ups at a Governor's Comedy Club, which is really, if you guys don't know, in Long Island, it's the biggest comedy club. It has springboarded the careers of Eddie Murphy, Rosie O'Donnell, Kevin James, other really big names. So I think they were a little gun-shy at first, and then they saw that we meant business, that we were genuinely very fond of them, and since then we text all the time, and they're going to come to the city and visit with us. So I promise you, there'll be no hijinks, there'll be no weird sound effects. This is going to be us just kind of picking your brain about what you guys do, how you do it, how you manage to stay so energized every single day with all the chaos that you have going on. How do you manage it?
Coffee.
Coffee.
and then margaritas towards the end of the day.
Right, you have to unwind.
Yeah.
I don't think you post a lot of that, Priscilla. I don't see a lot of
We
the...
don't. We
Yeah.
don't. We always say that we're the same people in person that we are online, except we cuss a little more and drink a little more
Yeah.
in,
Still
in
Just like-
real life.
Just like me and Mark, exactly.
That same thing.
Yeah.
I know that...
No, I don't think so, Mike. I've seen your shows, and
Yeah.
I think that it's probably similar.
That is true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what you see is what you get, pretty much.
You guys have been doing this for years, and I have a couple of questions about that. When this started, when you guys started videotaping and then eventually blogging and podcasting, was the goal to bring awareness to autism? What did you could not have imagined that it was going to get to the place that it is now? So I'm curious, from what it is now, what did you guys think at the beginning that how it was gonna be?
I'll let you take this because that was like
Yeah, I mean, back then it was
Yeah.
solely my thing,
Yeah.
right? Like I kind of like kicking and screaming drug the rest of them into this, but when I started out, it was just an outlet for me, like as a dad, and I was writing, I was blogging about it online, and it still exists somewhere in the blog space. My mental upchucks onto the internet of just what I was thinking and stuff we were going through or whatever, and it was like only family and friends reading it because I would share it on Facebook or whatever, and then it started to reach people like strangers, which was super weird. I had people like leaving comments on the blog posts and stuff, and it was probably that was like 12 years ago.
Oof.
yeah.
It was a long time ago
Yeah.
because we've only actually been doing YouTube about half that time. So I kind of discovered like Casey Neistat era of YouTube, when that you could actually like tell a story online and share your point of view via video, and it was a lot more powerful. So I was like, oh, I'll give this a shot. And I'm super ADHD, so I get hyper focused on something, and I go 100% in. So I did all kinds of research and learned everything there was to know about starting a YouTube channel and whatnot, and did that. And our first official video was what is an autism service dog, and because we actually got a lot of questions out in public, so I was like, okay, what do people not know? Autism wasn't a household word as it is now. Even then, it wasn't as popular or common.
Right, because Abigail, our daughter's 18, and we had her diagnosed at 2. So 16 years ago, people still didn't know what autism was.
Right.
We didn't. We thought Rain Man. That was
Yeah.
our whole thing was Rain Man.
Right.
And we're like, she's not like that.
Yeah.
So he
I mean, if you
started.
could count cards, that'd be
Right?
dope.
I know.
But-
Right.
But yeah, so I started making videos, and that was the first one. And then it was like more strangers that were like, "This helps so much, thank you." And then we started doing like DIY stemming toys and all these different ideas that we had to educate. And then it kind of turned it. But I was really, my target audience was like other parents and caregivers and stuff. And then we had therapists reaching out to us, or people that would change their major in college to ABA therapy because they saw what a positive impact that kind of therapy had on our child. And I was like, holy cow, we're reaching a lot of people with this.
Yeah.
And then it just one day
Then
exploded.
we had a college reach out, and
Yeah.
we were actually teaching. We were like guest speakers once a month in their college classes for their master's program.
I slept through high school and I helped teach a college. It was
Neither
insane.
one of us has a
I have a
college
plaque
degree.
on the wall over here. It's,
There you go, right?
it's amazing.
Abby may not be able to count cards, but what she does for so many people, I mean, you know this, that you guys are both awesome, but we all watch because we love Abby. And you know, she may not be verbal, but she certainly communicates incredibly well. And my favorite thing, certainly as an adorable, bedimpled person myself, when I see that sneaky little dimpled face, and I know how freaking smart that kid is, and she's up to no good.
It's relatable.
And so I'm curious, like, she has an incredible sense of humor. She's incredibly bright. She's a devious little bugger. Where does she get that from? Is that from mom or dad? Who's the jokester? Who's the little trickster?
It's an unfortunate combination of the both.
I was
Okay.
going to say, but Isaiah is the same way. It's
Okay.
definitely a mosh trait.
It's a mosh trait.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
a
my
mosh
side.
trait.
Are you
for
including
sure.
yourself in that, Priscilla, or you're saying from
no,
that side of the
I'm
family?
married and I've been here 22 years now, so I guess I'm pretty much part of that.
Yeah, I would say like the manipulation side of things is me, and then the
okay.
attitude side of things is her mom. So it's really and you know, it's cool that you say that, because she has made such a positive impact on so many people. You know, every time I read a message from somebody on Facebook or whatever, you know, when they're not messaging me about being on a podcast, it's really, I'm like, man,
Oops, sorry.
you know, she has changed so many lives and made so many other people's lives for, you know, change them for the better.
Yes.
It's amazing that your child, that your family can have such an impact on so many people.
Yeah, she's just
without saying a word.
She's pure love, and I read the comments too, and she does affect people. You guys have brought an incredible amount of light to the autism community. I'm curious, and I asked the Landris this too, and they stumbled a little bit. Do you guys ever take a second to sit back and realize what incredible impact she has made and you two have made, along with Isaiah, along with Summer? Do you guys ever let yourself do that, or you just can't do that?
You know, I think so. For myself, I kind of get lost in the weeds a lot, right? Because I'm focused on making content. Like we've committed ourselves now. We're like, okay, we can make an income off of YouTube, off of Facebook, and that was a whole awakening. Let me tell you, I was like, people make money doing this, because we didn't make any money off of it for 2 years.
That's a full-time job too.
We loved it, you know.
Yeah.
And we loved making that connection with people. And then we started making money off of it. So then we committed ourselves to, okay, so we need to figure out how much it would cost to care for a person with Abigail's cognitive ability and her needs, and then we need to make that amount of money. Because if something were to happen to us, like, we need to be able to take care of her for the rest of her life, right? Yeah. So we really put our focus on that. So then my focus became like, okay, I need to make content. I need to have catchy thumbnails. I need to get people to watch videos. I need to make short form content. And then all these different forms of content. So, TikTok became a thing in the midst of, and it just, I'm constantly doing that all day. And I get kind of lost in the weeds of it. And those messages I talked about, they oftentimes reel me back in. Somebody will send me a DM on Instagram, and I get a lot of them, so I don't read many of them, but I read enough where, one will hit me and I'm like, damn, we did that for that person.
Yeah.
Like we brought that person out of a very dark place, or we provided this other parent who lives in rural America with a sense and feeling of community, and like they weren't going through things alone, or, whatever it might be. Those are the moments that really bring it back home for me, and honestly, they reignite the reason I start, because you do kind of get wrapped up in it. I mean, I'm sure you guys do it, as content creators of any form. You're just like, you get in this methodical, like, got to do this every week type of situation. And then you have those moments that kind of bring it home.
As somebody who follows your content, I watch all the content, but I fall into the rabbit holes of reading all the comments and everything, and I get exactly what you're saying, because I see a lot of either the parents of children with special needs or people with special needs themselves that
Right.
they can relate to that, and that's building them up a little bit, and it's I'll spend hours just on one video and then just watching all the comments.
Mike does that in the midst of me harassing him all day, every day about what the next week's show is going to be. So he's reading your stuff.
Well, and I would say for my part, because I'm not the video person and I'm not the editor. And so I'm always, of course, I'm the one, I'm like, oh my gosh, we got a hate comment, Asa, which that was in the beginning. Now it's every day. It's like, whatever.
Yes.
Okay. But those comments help me. They're like, yeah, those people hate us, but look what we did for this person. And that's way more like, it's way
more significant.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought up the hate comments, Priscilla, because it's something I talked to Landris about. It's something that Jordan's mom from, you obviously know Jordan's family. And Jordan's mom addresses it from time to time. She will do a little TikTok, after seeing something that was super spicy, she will address it. The Landreths don't. Sometimes Tristan wants to, she says, the sister for the Landreth family. When people will say things like, you are taking advantage of your daughter and you're just doing this for financial gain for yourselves, which obviously the real good people know that it's total hogwash, that you're doing this. There's such an incredible cause and you're saving money for Abby and so forth. But do you guys address this publicly? Do you want to, or is it just easier to let it go?
From time to time, it depends on what mood I'm in.
So for me, when we retire from this part of our profession, my goal is to have my own podcast where I talk trash to the people.
Oh
that
my
talk
God, that's
trash
brilliant.
To us for the rest of all the
I want to be
years.
your first guest.
Mike can do it. Mikey will do it.
That's
Absolutely.
my goal. I
Now for me, when we do retire from this, I'm going to get a flip phone and never be on social media again. Just because it's not my personality anyway. The only time I spend on social media is the fathering autism side of things. Asa Moss doesn't use social media, so we're totally opposite on that. But no, it depends. Sometimes I'm feeling spicy myself. So
yeah, and you
we
certainly
can
should
go rounds. But
Jordan's mom does it with her sweet little. I mean, she's not even from the South; she's from Kansas City, but
right.
she turns it.
I
mean, look at what they just did with their wrinkled T-shirt. Like that comment, now created this new T-shirt. I mean,
now
that's
everybody wants a wrinkled T-shirt.
Exactly.
Well, I
love her to death.
What she does, Priscilla, she will do a TikTok without Jordan. Jordan is separate. Jordan's folding shirts somewhere, and she's like, I'm going to take a couple of minutes here and record a little video. And she posts a little comment, and I don't know if she put the people's name up or not, but she will address it, and that person will feel, I can only imagine how dressed down they feel, and they should, obviously, but she definitely...
Well, just like Scylla said, they made a whole T-shirt about one dumb comment about wrinkled T-shirts.
That's right.
Right.
That's
They've
right.
had their second sellout now. I saw it today. I was like, yes, I love that for you.
I just wish, one of the big things, and then there's like the empathetic side of me. I'm like, I feel bad for people because I'm like, do they really, like, their life is not good enough that they have to, act that way or treat other people that way. So then that does come up too. And then I go right back to, being sarcastic and stuff. But, I feel all the emotions in it, but generally, for the most part, I mean, it just doesn't affect us. We know what the impact we're making.
Ace's personality is sarcastic anyway, so I have to tell him you have to put an LOL or a smiley face at the end of your comments, or people are going to take it in a bad way because they just don't get the humor all the time.
Right.
Well,
so yeah.
You guys I think you started to touch on it, but what Trent's dad, Corey, who's a pastor, they run a church, he had said very, very calmly, what does that say about them? It's all about them. It's not about us. Yeah. They obviously are in a pretty dark place in their lives that they're going to be criticizing what we do when the majority of people know that it's all out of good and people truly look forward to new content every day. If you're sitting there waiting to go ahead and troll a family like that or this, there's probably some real deep-rooted issues that we should all have pity on.
Well, and I can tell you, like watching other families with kids with autism or young adults with autism, I have learned so much more from that than like a doctor's office.
Yeah.
You know, a doctor doesn't live the life that we live, so they can only tell us their professional opinion. But so I know that my daughter has given that to other families.
Right.
And being that she's a girl, it's more, you know, autism is more prominent in boys. And so that to me is way more important than any, you know, person that doesn't like what we do.
Well, that's why, like Nova Southeastern University, they had us as, you know, guests in their classrooms because we could provide, you know, because they were teaching, you know, future therapists. Therapist goes into a house and they see this, you know, this kind of numbed version of what life is for a short amount of time. They don't see, you know, the aftermath. They don't see what life looks like, you know, on a day. So bringing parents in and just getting a family's perspective on things can help so many ways.
Yeah.
And we've gotten that from our viewers.
Well,
You know, I've seen comments where I'm like there's a sunshade over Abby's corner in the swimming pool now because people told me that she didn't like the swimming pool because it was too bright.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm an idiot. Why didn't I think of that? So now we have one of those like offset umbrellas over the pool, you know, so we learn a lot from our viewers just like they learn from us. So it's a great community.
That's what it is. A lot of people don't understand how much people spin their wheels going from doctor to doctor. If they have a child that they're trying to figure out what the best treatment is, they're going to neurologists and therapists, and you're putting it out there and raising awareness, and people are getting information, and people want to try to criticize that, but you know.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. I'm curious sometimes, especially the way Asa speaks. I wonder, is it from educational background? Because you will spew medical terminology and different diagnoses, and I'm like, how does this guy know all this stuff? Or is it just stuff that he learned as he's lived this life for the past 18 years?
Yeah.
Hooray, ADHD. So, you know, when we got, like I said, you know, hyperfocus has everything to do with that, but I would enjoy very much like taking the RBT exam. So for ABA therapy, I would like to see how much I know, you know, because I've paid you know, we go to every therapy session and we did it all when she was little growing up and wanting to take in and learn so much because the therapist can only provide therapy when they're with your child. You know, it's up to us as parents to provide that later. And Lord knows what the future is going to hold, whether you can even get therapy, you know? So, you know, we wanted to be as best prepared as we could in any situation and be able to follow through on these things that we were learning. So we learned it all.
Yeah, Abby's been receiving in-home therapy with her ABA therapist for over 10 years now. So Asa, you know, we used to own a motorcycle and ATV repair shop before YouTube. And so he's a fix-it kind of guy as it is. Like, he wants to fix things. Well, you can't fix autism, right? Which we don't want to fix her autism, but at least we can understand it more. And so I did all the therapy with the therapist when she was younger. And now that she's gotten older, Asa has taken that role over. So I think it's really helped him be able to understand, like, why does she do the things she does? And what can we do to help her when, like he said, the therapists aren't here?
All right.
So I'm curious. I assume it happens. We don't see it a lot on your content, but how often in a day or a week do one of you, or maybe both at the same time, just lose it? You know, your patience is just shot. You're tired. When Abby goes through one of those nights where she just doesn't want to sleep, and one of you have to be awake with her. So tell us a little bit about that. How you guys handle those moments and how often they happen.
Well, I think, as you know, one of the beige flags of men in general is we try to take everything on our shoulders, put the world on our shoulders, and protect our family and stuff like that. And so it's definitely harder for me to say that, like, I've had enough today. I can't do anymore. You know, I've gotten better with that in just the last 2 years, maybe over the last 6 months. Let's say 6 months.
And
I've gotten
how?
better with that.
But
and
how
being
have
able
you done
to
that?
express.
How?
Well, just
Communication.
and some self-awareness too. Because I would notice, like, I'm getting super frustrated when I shouldn't be, and being able to communicate that, and it's sad that it took so long for me to reach that level of self-awareness where it's like you're not Superman. You can get help from other people, especially your spouse, and say, hey, I need to take a break, and I need some respite for myself. I took up some hobbies that got me out of the house, which is pretty cool because most of my hobbies were indoors. So, I'll go shoot sporting clays, and that's nothing. That is definitely not something Abby would want to do. So, going and doing that on my own, just like in the woods by myself, but being able to say, hey, this is what I need. That was a major growing thing for me, for sure. But outside of that, I don't know. I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of feel like we have we unspoken communication of like, we know when the other one's like,
Yeah. When you've had enough.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been married 22 years, so I feel like you just know. But I definitely had a harder time when Abigail started getting older, closer to the 18 years age, because I was like, okay, like we did Isaiah's out of the house. He graduated college. Now Abby's 18. We're going to be empty nesters, but we're not.
Right.
So I definitely had a harder time with that. And it was hard for me to express it because of our society, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm her mom.
Right.
I shouldn't have those feelings.
Sure.
So I definitely went through a hard time for about 6 months of, it's not that I don't love my child and that I don't want to be here for her and care for her daily.
Whew.
But at the same time, like, I feel like I'm missing out on life things now because we're missing out on that. And so then Abby came home and we started homeschooling. Well, then Ace's focus was all on Abby's homeschooling. So then I'm like, now it's pulling us further apart because he's doing that. So that's when I finally went to him and I was like, listen, like, not when I'm frustrated. And I'm like, I need you to realize that you don't have to do everything. And, it did take him realizing, like, there's other people that can do things. Like, it may not be the exact way that you want it done. And it's okay. Like, she's going to be okay.
So what you guys are basically saying is that really this is a work in progress every single day. You're talking about 6 months ago. You're talking about a year ago. Abby's been here for 18 years. So really there is no black and white answer. It's something that you guys deal with and battle with almost every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we just know that we work as a team, just like when, obviously Abby has to have full-time care. And so she does showers and stuff like that. So does that mean that mom has to give her a shower every single day for the rest of her life? Like, no, that's her dad. He's able to do that as well, and keep her dignity intact. So it's things like that we just had to kind of navigate because we had never done it before. We had a typical child, and then we have Abigail. And so, and Isaiah's been a huge blessing to our family. Of course, you guys know,
oh, please. I'm going to get to him in a second because I can do a whole, we want to be best friends with Isaiah. Me and Mike, we're like, we need that kid in our lives. He's just,
he's great.
He's pretty amazing.
We can borrow him. Yeah.
So actually, the one question that of course I wanted to open the show with that Mike and I talk about all the time that we'll segue to for a quick second is, when can we see Isaiah and Summer together as a couple? That's all we wanted to know.
So funny. If you saw them in person, you'd be like, there's no way in hell.
I know.
It is quite lit. It'd be like a brother marrying his sister. Like, it is straight up, like, that is genuinely the relationship.
Watch them end up getting married, and then they bring this podcast back.
I know. Yeah.
No, I mean, I know that they've done videos together, and I've seen them.
Yeah.
Mike and I have seen them many times together. They are. There's some incredible connection, and of course, the connection is Abby. Obviously, their love for Abby. But obviously, I'm not the first one to think about this, and I'm sure you get it all the time. But yeah, it would be really amazing if that could happen live on our podcast tonight.
Oh yeah.
Isaiah's away, is that right? He's away this summer, isn't he?
He is doing Camp I Am Special here in Jacksonville.
Okay.
So he graduated in May, and then he's going into grad school. So he'll be doing that here in Florida, but he is out at Camp I Am Special, and this is his last week. So he's like a supervisor this year.
Wow.
He's going to be super sad because then he has to like get his big boy job.
I know, right?
He's already got everything lined up for it. And so he's not going to be happy about not being able to do camp anymore.
No.
But
Big
there's
boy
only
jobs
2
are the
weeks
worst.
left.
Yeah, they are.
Right?
Right? I know.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited for him because he did the RBT as his internship. And so we were like, did you still like it? You never know. Like, this is your chance. And he loved it. So I'm excited for him to be able to just continue doing what he loves.
Great kid.
He's such a sweet boy, and I'm always curious, and I asked Trent's family this as well, is the impact that when you have another child, a typical child, and then you have a nonverbal speaking autistic child, how does that affect the rearing of that other child? And he has seemingly came through with flying colors. He seems so well adjusted. But do you guys ever feel like, wow, we're not giving him enough, or he's not getting enough? And tell us a little about that.
So when he was
I
younger,
haven't.
no. When he was younger, we definitely made it a point. I mean, because I feel like that's when it would have affected him more.
Right.
We made it a point that he had his things that Abby did not go to. And that was because we wanted to focus on him. So, I think she's attended maybe 2 of his football games his whole time of doing football from Pop Warner all the way through 12th grade, because she didn't enjoy it. And if mom and dad are having to focus on Abigail and keep her entertained, then that would take our focus off of him. So we always had things like that. We do, now that he's 21, we can do like date nights with him. We took him to a hookah bar the other night with us.
Yeah.
So there's things that we always make sure, we take him to concerts, and he'll tell you, I mean, he said it to other people, like, I never felt like mom and dad gave Abby more attention.
Part of it was his personality too that we were blessed with, because he also has the this savior complex that his
Yes.
dad has, right? Mr. Fix It, I can fix all the things. And he always struggled with, like, we wanted him to, like, you go, like, we'd be at a surf event, and he'd be off surfing with another child or whatever, and he might see Abigail having a hard time, and he'd want to come up and, like, rescue us,
yeah.
We're like, we got it, bud.
Yeah,
But
still a
it
big brother,
was
and
just, yeah, he
great.
always wanted to help, and he always wants to step in, and he always wants to be, so part of it was his personality too.
And even now, like, he's been, he moved away from home for 3 years. He's back. And he's like, the other day he asked Abby something. She didn't respond quick enough on her iPad, and he likes talking for her. And I'm like, listen, dude, she's got this. Like,
Yeah.
don't be messing up
Like,
what
you've been
we've been
gone
doing
for
for 3
Right.
years.
We've been working hard here. You've been off partying or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Well, he still runs to the rescue. I saw some content, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, where I think Abby had gone out for ice cream and she didn't put shoes on, and the ground
Yeah.
was burning, and he literally just put her in a bear hug, and he carried her back to the house. Did I see that correctly? Is that right?
Yep.
That's exactly
Yep.
what happened.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
he.
I was like, come on, we'll carry you, and he snatches her up and
Yeah, but it's
hero.
just so interesting that Mark brings that up, because it's just there's so many struggles that you have, but then adding that other factor of having the typical child, you don't want to feel like you're neglecting them, and you have to be mindful of that, and then mindful of so many other things.
Sure.
It's just unbelievable.
And walking around with that camera all the time. You're walking around all the time with that.
Watch
with
where
that
you're
big
going.
phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And dogs.
I got my camera arm is twice the size of my non-camera arm.
So, funny story, Asa will start vlogging, like, he won't have a camera with him.
Dude, I've been doing this for so many years that I'm just gonna bring my phone and I'll
That's
vlog
like,
on my phone.
you don't look
Yeah.
legit when you do that. That looks creepy to me. If you have a real camera, like, that looks legit. If you bring your camera phone, like, that's weird.
Yeah, like a DSLR with a huge furry microphone and everything
Yeah.
doesn't look creepy walking around. Okay.
Do you guys ever
No.
think? I'm curious, and I'm sure you do. You guys have ABA therapy. I mean, it's just there's so much growth that we've seen from Abby over the years. But what are your hopes for her? Do you hope at some point that she is going to be able to say some words? I mean, what do they tell you? What kind of vision do you have for what's going to happen going forward?
You always look
her
at me.
her dad will tell you she doesn't have to have a job because she's his princess.
Well, okay, let's just review the social norm here, right? And the reason why we all have jobs. We all go to college and we all have jobs and we all do it because we're supposed to. You know, like if you didn't have to, why would you? That's dumb. It doesn't
I
make
would
any
not.
sense. She doesn't have to.
Yeah.
You know, so now if she were to, a lot of people with disabilities, they have so much pride in what they do, and they also understand social norms. So it's like, oh, I got to get a job and a girlfriend, you know, or a job and a boyfriend or whatever, and so they go out, and that's what their goals are, you know.
Yeah.
But if that's not part of your life, if that's not a thing, and I wanted to do. This job fulfills me. I'm sure you guys' job fulfills you. Priscilla's job fulfills her. I want her to do what fulfills her. You know, I do want her to have pride in what she does, but that it doesn't need to be something that creates an income or a paycheck. You know, it doesn't have to be. If it does, great, cool. If not, that's fine too. I just want her to have a fulfilling life.
Yeah.
I mean,
as far as talking, there's no guarantee. I mean, so she has everything that you need to talk.
Yeah.
It's just something neurologically is not clicking for the words to come out of her mouth. So, you know, we constantly work on the iPad and getting her to use that effectively. She has her, you know, go-to words, but she has access to every word you could ever imagine.
And phrases, full phrases.
Yeah.
At the touch of a button.
But she knows the words she knows, and she likes those words, and that's what she goes to. My personal goal is just to make her as independent as possible.
Sure.
I don't know exactly how that looks. I know she'll be with us forever. She'll live with us forever in some kind of capacity.
Sure.
Whether it be, you know, I would love for her to be able to like live out in an apartment type thing out on the property and maybe have people like caregivers that go in because she doesn't want to be with mom and dad 24/7 either.
Right.
Like the girl loves her girl nights.
And that allows you to build, you know, more relationships, even if it's with a caregiver, having more relationships in a wide variety of you know, interactions with different humans, and it just, you learn better that way and all that. But, you know, from a communication point of view, like you guys have to realize too, like we're against a ticking clock. We're only going to be here so long. We only have so much time. And this is what all parents face. You know, it's like, and I mean all parents, period, not just parents of children with disabilities. You prepare your child with as much as you can and provide for them, you know, the information that they need and all that, like everything you can do before you send them off. And then you decide if you failed them or not. Right. Well, we have the same thing with Abigail. It's just a little more dire because it's like whatever level of independence she reaches, that makes her safer. That makes her less vulnerable. You know, it costs less money because she's more independent. Like all those factors. So when we look at communication, we're like, okay, you know, you only have so much time in a day. Do we invest more time into getting her to speak words or to use an iPad for communication? And because she's 18 and has never spoken a word, it looks like a better investment of time is in the iPad. Now, she's blown our minds before. She could start talking tomorrow. There's nothing stopping her from that except for, like Priscilla said, a neurological disconnection in the brain. But that's our direction with it. And that's the reason why. It's not because of a loss of hope or because we doubt our daughter or anything like that. It's because it's logical. It makes sense.
Yeah.
One of the things that Mike and I were talking about when we were prepping is that we never find that there's a lack of communication. She always knows what she wants. You guys always know what she wants.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not like, come on, well, you know, what is she trying to say?
You find a rhythm.
The people that are watching, we feel like it's just a regular relationship with just one person not speaking.
Yep.
That's how it feels to us, at least.
Yeah. Right. So basically, with a teenager, I mean, that's kind of what it would be like anyway. Because I doubt she's
Exactly.
at this age.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I have a 13, 18, and 20-year-old, and not any of them are speaking to me today. So, yes.
We always joke and we say that the autism did not take the brattiness like teenager away because the girl has a little attitude for sure.
Oh, yeah.
She's all 18-year-old girl, every bit of her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
She's a little devious, sneaky. She has a great sense of humor. She totally, I mean, this is how I see it, and I'm the same way. But, man, she has Asa wrapped. I mean, it is
100%.
unbelievable.
Right before you said that, I was imagining her when she walks up to me with that little smirk, that one dimple on one side.
The dimple.
I already know. I already know that she's gonna ask me for something, and I already know I'm gonna say yes. Like she knows.
Yeah, she's gonna go snack. She's gonna make a little face, and then next thing you know, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is out at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, isn't that amazing though? How?
But if Grandma tries to give her an extra donut, it's like, why are you giving her all this sugar?
Right,
I'm like,
right.
What is wrong with you? You just gave her 5 Oreos last night. Let Grandma give her whatever she wants.
That's
Isn't
so
it
funny.
amazing though how you can have someone with like, with developmental delay, with cognitive, issues, with sensory processing disorder, with autism, with all these things that are evident, and she has such high social intelligence. Like, man, she will play people like a fiddle. New people come into the house.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She knows.
Yeah, she knows.
Fresh meat.
She sinks her teeth right in
It's
there.
amazing.
She sinks her teeth right in.
I say all the time, if she were typical, she'd be the bad kid. She would be grounded all the time.
That's
She
right.
just
Exactly.
says that to make
She
herself
would
look better.
never have a cell phone. Like,
I love it. Well, I'm going to close with making Asa cry, but before I do that, I just want to I want to let our producer Tony speak for a second, because Tony is also the parent of an adult autistic daughter. Samantha is verbal, but I'm sure Tony can speak with a lot of familiarity of a lot of the obstacles that you guys face for a long time.
Yeah. Hi, guys.
hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I knew you were over there, just couldn't see you.
Yeah, I was hiding. Yeah, I definitely feel like I could talk to you guys for hours. There's so many similarities.
Message them yourselves, all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is our time, Tony.
I definitely will bug
That's
you
why
like
I
Mark
kept him to
has.
the end.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
why I kept him to the
I'll
end.
answer 2 months later, I promise.
Hey, Tony, message me, buddy. Don't.
Cool.
I'll send you my link.
Will do. But I do want to commend Asa. I don't know how it is in your neck of the woods, but here it's kind of known. It's like an unofficial known thing that where it's mostly the mothers that get heavily involved. The fathers, they take a long time to accept this. What's going on. They find it harder to get involved. So I just want to commend you for being involved as well. I am very involved with my daughter's life as well. And I've learned a lot about the condition, if you want, I guess, for lack of a better word. You learn a lot about it, but you also learn a lot about life. Like like you guys were just saying, you're used to Abby not speaking, and it's just become your way of life. And even you touched upon before about her, not necessarily having to get a job, which is exactly how I feel. The things that are important to them are not the things that are important to us, and sometimes I think they have it figured out better than we do.
Yeah.
So I just really want to commend you guys, and then the last thing I don't want to take up too much time.
I want you to brag a little bit about the league that you have put together here on Long Island, the Nassau County, the PAL. So please tell them about that.
We're in a county called Nassau County, and we have a police athletic league. We are the only police athletic league in the whole country to have a special needs division.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and I'm the president.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
I
have
love that.
basketball, bowling, yoga classes. We're doing a flag football program this summer with the Jets. We have a whole bunch of different. We have a money management class for some of the higher level
Mike needs
guys.
Yeah, I could
Yeah,
actually
you
use
can
that one.
definitely do that.
That's
We
amazing.
all do.
It is. It's great. It's great because they get to do things that they may not be able to do. Plus, socially, it's just fantastic. And even for the parents, they have great moments with the kids. But even we develop our own relationship with the parents as well. So I won't lie; it's a little self-serving.
Well, but you've told me that you formed a lot of relationships. You have a lot of friends because of this.
Absolutely.
Tony had no friends before.
None.
So
Zero.
Yeah, I pay
Well,
them a lot.
Tony, it's funny you say that because we're in that part in our lives right now where we're like, we don't have any like real life friends
Yeah.
because when your kids get older, like I used to have PTA and I had,
Right.
sports for Isaiah. And now it's like, I don't have any of that stuff.
Well, that was
and
that
so,
was going to be my
yeah.
question. Are there programs that now that she's graduated, that would take that place, like a basketball league or anything like that?
So we have Special Olympics.
Okay, yeah.
Which, like, Abby, we haven't gotten her out of the lazy stage of being 18 yet.
Right. Yes.
That came with age, and then that's something like parents always ask us, like, will they ever slow down and stop running? I'm like, yes, when the hormones kick in. Then it's just
Mike's
then they do
39.
I was just gonna say,
Mike's 39 and he's on the stage.
yeah, my parents still haven't gotten me out of that one yet. So,
But one of my goals this year is to actually start. We have a parent group that we used to go to, which it's funny you guys are in Nassau County because our county that we used to go to is Nassau County. We're in Duval County.
it's the better Nassau County though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
It's in Florida.
I can guarantee you that's probably true.
They don't have a PAL special needs division. I'll tell you that.
Hey now.
They know.
Hey now.
One of my goals is to have a parent group, and especially for older parents with older kids, because when they're 2 and 3, you have groups all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when they get, because you just meet at the park and you just let them run around and
Right.
eat dirt and stuff. But when they get older, like, you don't have that. So that's one of my goals this year. I have a lot of goals, but that's one of them.
Yeah. And as Tony can attest to, like, services drop off drastically once they get to a certain age,
We do have some things in the works that we haven't announced yet, but we
Yes.
do have some things in the works for Abigail.
Yeah, but services drop off, and thus does support for parents and the parents groups, because we're all just busy trying to occupy our adult children,
Right.
And it's cool you said that, though. Isaiah, actually, when he was in Boone, North Carolina, he volunteered with a baseball league for people with disabilities.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, and you're totally right, 100% self-serving. And I wish people realized how self-serving it is, because they would go do it
More people
and
would do
enjoy
it,
it so
exactly.
much, because
Right.
it just, oh man, like when we did service for autism and when we work out at the special needs camp, all those things, like, man, it makes you feel good. Like if people
Yeah.
knew
Yes.
what that drug felt like,
Yep.
they would
Absolutely.
give more.
That's the
you know?
truth.
I love that.
Yep. And I'm again another reason I'd love to talk to you guys more, because
Cut the mic.
sorry, this will be my last thing, I promise. I'm curious to hear more about
Cut his mic.
the adult programs that I guess you guys don't have, because in a weird way, that community, the special needs community, it is a booming business, and here in New York, there's more and more programs popping up all the time. The pay rates have increased for for aides who want to actually register to be aides for for ComHab type workers. So I'd love to talk to you guys some more at some point. So
and that
thank
comes
you.
right along with the awareness that's
Thanks, Tony.
being
Thank
spread with YouTube videos like this.
Right.
The awareness is there, and then people start making more organizations and making
Absolutely.
things readily available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want you guys, before you go, I want to touch on one thing, and then I want you to close with just some of the things like Scylla's skincare business and the makeup and the cooking and the selfie business. But I'm going to close with this, and as a parent of 3 kids, Mike is a stepdad of a daughter. Tony has 2 children. We're all pretty sensitive, emotional guys, in touch with our feelings. I'm the crier out of the group. And something I watched the other day choked me up. And I don't think you put the video of you being choked up, Asa, but I know you did get choked up, is that Abby came and asked Daddy to tuck her in. And that's not something that had happened. It seemed like ever, maybe. I don't know, but you did a little cute, like a little mock video where it was Asa playing Abby and Asa playing Asa, and it was really cute. So just tell us about that experience and how you really did feel with that the other day.
Like we've talked about, we have these moments where you just have, sometimes so her receptive communication varies from day to day as far as what she hears and understands. It just depends on how good of a day she's having, and it's the same neurological mix up in her brain as far as producing words. So sometimes you're just like, does she get it? Does she understand? Does she, but she does. She understands so much more than what you think she does even. But then other times you question it, right? Like, because it's so hard to tell, because there is that break in communication. And you have those moments, though, where you are both, where, me and her, Priscilla and her, Isaiah and her, whatever, we are so in tune and understand each other so clearly that the autism doesn't exist. The the struggles
That's
don't
amazing.
exist, the disability doesn't exist. And she looked at me and she was like, and I could tell because she'll come in here and she's basically telling us she's going to bed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you going to bed? And she said, yeah. She nodded her head yes. Sorry, when I say, that's her saying so, because that's how she talks. She said yes, nodded her head yes. And I said, okay, go on upstairs. I love you. Because she's not super big into hugs. The hugs are for me. They're not really for her.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, go up to bed. Love you. And she said no. But then she continued to stand there. I knew that if she was avoiding bed, she would go back to the living room. So she stood there and I was like, do you want me to tuck you in? And she nodded yes. Wow. And I was just like freaking melted, man.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
can't
I'm
even...
like, all right, come on, I'll walk you up there. And she turns and walks up the stairs and I tucked her into bed and she's giggling a little bit. I tucked her in and she was giggling because she also felt like
he gets me.
He got me.
Yeah.
He understood what I wanted.
Yeah.
He
It
did
worked.
what I wanted and I was able to communicate my needs and my wants. And all of her undesirable behaviors, as ABA therapists call it, and all of her frustrations and meltdowns and tantrums, and all of that comes from frustration, from inability to communicate.
Yeah.
She can't tell us what she wants and needs. She can't tell us how she feels. She struggles because she's smart enough now that she knows the details, but she can't communicate the details. So that's where that giggle came from. Because at that moment, that one time of the day, she perfectly communicated, what she wanted. And it was just...
Well, and then the next night, Asa came up. He's like, did you put Abby in bed? And I was like, yeah. I was like, she came down and was waving. She does her little thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you want me? And so I walked up with her and did and I'm like, what is this? I don't know.
It's a new
She's
thing?
never had
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
She
so
communicates.
We hit these little milestones, these seemingly small things.
Well,
and
those
they're
little
just-
moments, yeah.
They're massive to us. They really are massive moments.
They're
Yeah.
they're massive, is what we're gonna
Yeah.
say.
Massive.
I'm a comedian. I'm sorry. I had to
Wow,
do it.
don't quit your day job. No.
Sorry. I had to.
It was such a great.
It was a great show.
Such a great
I blew
show
it.
up until
Okay.
that.
58 minutes. I blew it. I'm sorry.
That's why we're at 9. That's why we're doing this at night.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we adore you. We appreciate every one of you, from Summer to Isaiah, to both of you, to Abby, and we can't thank you enough for sharing some time with us. We know your time is precious, so thank you so much for coming. Please close with again. I know that Scylla has side businesses. I know about the selfies. Just whatever you want to promote to our people that they can follow you guys. Just tell us all.
Go ahead.
You want to do yours first? huh?
Okay, so I have my Lipstick Mama, where I do makeup and skincare for the everyday woman. Changing the stigma of you have to be like a Victoria's Secret model. I'm just like trying to look less dead walking out the door. That's my
Right.
goal in life.
And it's really funny because this brand started off as a brand for professional makeup artists.
Yeah.
And it was used on Broadway and it was used in movies and stuff. And then here comes Priscilla and she just knocks it out of the park with sales because so makeup and skincare.
In 2 weeks, I'll be speaking on a stage training our field of 1,000 women. So I'm super excited about that. So Lipstick Mama.
Okay.
And then I have
On Facebook.
Yep. And then I have Scylla's Stuff and Things. It's kind of gone back and forth between Pots, Pans, and Priscilla. And then I brought it back to Scylla's Stuff and Things because...
The other way around.
Or yeah, I brought it back to Pots, Pans, and Priscilla. I was looking at my YouTube thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like that's more of who I am. Pots, right? Like I like to cook. The pans, and then Priscilla is everything in between. Plus size fashion and just the goofiness side of me. The stuff that Asa sometimes edits, sometimes doesn't.
Well, the first time, real short story, the first time she cooked for me, we were 19 years old, had just gotten married. And I came back from deployment. I was in the Coast Guard. And she's like, what do you want me to cook for you, for your first dinner back from deployment? And so she ends up cooking spaghetti. Oh, I said veal parmesan, first of all.
Yeah.
That's what I knew.
I didn't even know what
And-
veal was.
I know what veal is. So it's a thing that I ordered at a restaurant. That's all. So she burnt the noodles. There was garlic bread, but it got burnt. I knew it wasn't, like, I opened the trash can and saw it, but I didn't say anything at the time. I mean, it was, and now she's like this amazing home chef. So
Yeah.
She's been sharing her recipes for a few years over there and doing all that. But she's
Another goal of
Very
the
cool.
cookbook.
wanting to put out a cookbook. Yeah.
We don't have Selfie World anymore. We decided to shut that down. It was too much, and we couldn't be as hands-on as we needed to be for that.
Sure.
So we shut that down, but now we're doing Airbnb rentals.
Yeah. Getting into that. I want to be an Airbnb.
You guys have
guy.
plenty of time. Why not?
Why not?
Just
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, you know.
Well, we opened one up in June.
Some more
last
stuff on
month
your
we
plate,
opened up
yeah.
an Airbnb, and it's going great. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's a super fun thing to do. So
Awesome.
kind of a goal that we had, but then just fathering autism on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter,
Awesome.
TikTok, all the places.
Threads now. You guys on Threads?
Not yet. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, we just heard
Oh
about
my
that
gosh.
actually
The
recently.
link to the show, guys.
Yeah, we're going to do that. And it's interesting. The past couple of days, we've both been inundated with text messages of, are these people going to really come on your show? Like, they have millions of followers. I'm like, we're going to hope they're going to come on the show. We think they are. But
We are. Now
yeah.
I can't. Now we have to come back to New York so we can come visit. We
Absolutely
love New York.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Let me
So
just tell you.
I watched the episode
it.
with Trent, right? And
Yeah, thank you.
the whole, like, we feel the same way that they do about like being recognized and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, when you guys were talking about that,
Yep.
like, we feel the same exact way. I mean,
Yeah,
when
us
people
too.
come up to us and, you know, we see people out in public and they'll like, you know, they'll freak out or what, some freak out, some, you know, and we're like, hey, so we're normal people, you
We're
know, and
normal
it's
Yeah.
never not, it's never, we've never gotten to the point where we're like, oh yeah, we're so famous. It
Right.
doesn't mean anything. It genuinely doesn't. It's likes and follows on social
Exactly
media.
what you're saying. Like we're not actors in movies. We're just showing you our lives, and this is
Right.
what
Yeah.
you're recognizing. And
I possess no great skill that would allow me accolades.
Not a
from
singing.
the
No.
masses,
exactly.
But you possess two incredible children, and thank you for letting us get to know them and to get to know you guys. And we've had a great time today. This meant a lot to us, and we'll send you guys the link if you guys want to share it to your followers.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
And we appreciate your time, and we really do love all you. And hopefully we'll see you guys again.
Yeah, thank you,
Thanks
and let
for
us
having
know.
us.
When,
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
absolutely,
we
let us know when you
appreciate
come
it.
to New York.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we will.
Thank
Take
you
care,
so much.
folks. Bye now.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.
Thanks
Bye.
for coming. All right.
You know, I mean, I'm like, you know, I'm at a little bit of a loss for words. I don't know. Listen, you guys both know I drive you both nuts about the show. No. I do. I drive Tony nuts. I text him all hours of the day. Do the same thing to you.
Yeah.
I don't know what this show is going to be. We've definitely seen growth and we've seen progress, and but ultimately, is it going to be a show that quote unquote takes off? I don't know the answer to that. What I do know is that something like this, whether 1,000 people see it or 1 million or whatever the case may be, it doesn't change the fact that that was so satisfying. Do you feel that?
100%.
Tony?
That's something we'll always have.
You feel that was just we got to speak with wonderful people about a wonderful topic. They're bringing exposure to, they're giving autism awareness all over the country. And even if maybe one person who never watched our show today is watching and they saw that and they got to see questions answered by them that they never knew, then I think we did someone a service.
That's what I was saying with the awareness and because all the comments that I read.
Yeah.
I see people that learn something. There's people that have a child with special needs, or people that have special needs themselves, and they're learning something. And they don't feel so alone.
Right.
And like you said, even if it's just one person, enjoy that Rice Krispie treat.
I'm going to celebrate with this delicious 3-month-old. Oh my God, that's actually pretty good.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Mikey, good job.
They're well preserved in that saran wrap.
I love it. Well, listen, thank you guys for listening and watching. And if you're new to us, please like us on Herschy and the Keegs on Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook. We have a Facebook page. We're a fun show. But we also do serious events like this as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully you enjoyed this. We appreciate all of our old fans, new fans. Keep on watching, keep on listening, keep on sharing, and we'll keep on bringing the content for as long as we
Smash that
can.
like button.
Yes, sir.
Smash it.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, boys? Can we go ahead and check out? Are we good?
I think we're good. Yeah,
We're good.
I
Okay,
think
guys.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, guys, for
We appreciate
watching
it.
and thank you for the Mosses for coming out and
And
spending
thanks
some
to
time
Mikey
with
for the
us.
Rice Krispie treats.
My
And
pleasure.
we'll see you
Enjoy.
guys next week. Take care. Bye.
Have a good week.